My son, today I want to take you on a long journey where people blame themselves or God for bad things that happen to them. But they have forgotten that it is their fault that bad things happen to them, that their hopes are not fulfilled. I am here to boost your morale, to show you the right path the way a father shows their young children. But you have to keep that strength inside you. I am with you to boost your morale. My dear child, I know your heart. I know the silent prayers you whisper in the dark, the tears you shed when no one is watching, the burden of hope that sometimes feels too heavy to bear. You dream, you desire, you reach out for something greater. But what happens when the answers do not come? What happens when the doors remain closed and the silence grows louder? Does your heart tremble with doubt? Do you think my Father has forgotten you? Do you question your worth, thinking that maybe you are not good enough, not strong enough, not chosen for the blessings you so desperately seek? Oh, my child, listen to me. You aren't forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are deeply loved. There is a divine time for everything under the sky. Just as the sun rises every morning, just as rivers find their way to the sea, so too, according to my belief, will your life evolve. The waiting is not punishment. Delay is not denial. It is preparation. It is love in disguise, shaping you, molding you, preparing you for the future. I see you standing at the edge of despair, wondering if you should let go of hope. But I tell you today, hold on, for your story is not over. The pages are still being written, and the next chapter is filled with more grace, more miracles, more joy than you can imagine. I have walked this earth. I have felt the pain of rejection, the burden of loneliness, the agony of waiting. I have stood in the wilderness and fasted for 40 days, preparing for my Father's purpose. I have waited for the appointed time, knowing that every trial, every hardship was part of a greater plan. And now, I stand with you in your waiting, in your longing, reminding you that your breakthrough is coming. Will you trust me? Will you trust that I am working behind the scenes? Will you let fear overcome you? Come, let me take you on a journey of faith, patience, and the unwavering promise that God's best is yet to come. My dear child, I see the burden you carry. I hear the silent cry of your heart when no one else can hear it. You wonder why your prayers aren't answered, why your dreams seem so far away, and why the world seems to be moving forward while you're stuck in the same place. I know your pain. I know the depth of your longing. But listen to me. My Father's timing is perfect. What you are waiting for is not a deprivation, but a delay for a greater purpose. Many times, my children expect blessings without preparation, results without work, and a harvest without planting the seed. You have to understand, faith without action is like a tree without roots. It cannot stand when the storm comes. The journey of faith requires patience, trust, and effort. Let me tell you a story of a man named Elijah. Not the prophet, but an ordinary man with extraordinary struggles. Elijah was a man of great ambition. He dreamed of being successful, of building a life filled with joy and comfort. He prayed fervently, asking God for a breakthrough, for open doors, and for favor. Yet nothing changed over the years. His business failed, his relationships suffered, and his faith weakened. He began to blame himself, convinced that he wasn't good enough, and worse, he began to blame God, believing that he had been forgotten. One day, Elijah sat alone in his small home, staring at the empty shelves that once held his dreams. He cried out to God, "Why have you forsaken me?" I prayed, I waited, but nothing changed. Am I not worthy of your blessings? That night, Elijah had a dream. In it, He saw a farmer working in his field. The farmer was plowing the land, planting seeds and watering it every day. Weeks passed, but the seeds did not sprout. Yet, the farmer did not stop. Oh, he continued to nurture the ground, believing that something was happening beneath the surface. And then one day, after months of invisible progress, the trees finally broke through the ground and grew into abundant crops. When Elijah awoke, he heard a voice whisper in his heart, "Faith is not just waiting. It is preparing while you wait. Do not give up before the harvest comes." Many of my children lose faith because they expect results without effort. But my word is clear. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. You cannot sit back and wait for blessings to come. You must plant, water, and nurture your faith through action. If you want success, you must work for it. If you desire change, you must step forward. My Father rewards those who diligently seek Him and who are willing to act in faith. But I know what you are thinking. What if you have worked hard and still see no results? My child, this is where patience and trust come in. You are not in control of the timing, but God is. I remind you of Joseph, a young man who was shown dreams of greatness. He saw himself in a position of honor, but his journey was filled with betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. For years, he suffered without seeing any fulfillment of the promises given to him. He could have given up. He could have blamed God, but he did not. Instead, he remained faithful in the little things. Even in prison, he worked diligently, believing that my Father's plan was greater than his suffering. And then, at the appointed time, not a moment too early or too late, Joseph was taken from the prison to the palace. His patience and perseverance led him to the fulfillment of his destiny. My child, your waiting isn't wasted. God is working behind the scenes. Just because you do not see progress does not mean it is not happening. It is written in Proverbs, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life." Yes, delays can be painful. Waiting can feel unbearable. But remember, a tree that takes longer to grow develops deeper roots. The foundation must be strong before the blessing arrives. Today I am telling you, don't give up before your success comes. Just like the farmer who waited for his harvest, and Joseph who endured years of hardship, your time will come. The best is not behind you. It is ahead of you. So, my child, what must you do while you wait? Strengthen your faith. Trust in my Father's plan, even when you don't understand it. Work diligently. Do what you can with what you have, and trust that my Father will do the rest. Pray without ceasing. Do not let discouragement keep you from seeking my presence. Encourage others. Sometimes your success comes when you help someone else through them. I leave you with this promise. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Your time is coming. Wait patiently, my child, for God's goodness hasn't yet arrived. My beloved child, as you wait, as you wonder, as you wrestle with doubt, remember this: God's best is worth the wait. The enemy wants you to believe that waiting is a waste of time. Silence is abandonment. Delay is denial. But I tell you today, the waiting is where faith is tested and strengthened. You have heard my words, but do you really believe them? Do you believe that my Father is working behind the scenes, aligning every detail for your good? Do you trust that He knows the desires of your heart, the prayers you have whispered in the stillness of the night? Let me take you deeper into understanding why you must wait and how my Father's timing is always perfect. There was a man named Daniel who was eager for answers. He prayed fervently for wisdom, guidance, and success. Days turned into weeks, and yet there was no sign of change. His heart grew weary. His faith wavered. He began to question, "Has God forgotten me?" But what Daniel did not see was that the answer had already been sent. In the heavenly realm, there was a war. An angel was answering Daniel's prayer, but he was delayed by opposition in the spiritual realm. Yet, because Daniel remained steadfast in faith, the angel finally arrived with this message. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. My child, just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean nothing is happening. The answer is coming. The breakthrough has already begun. You must trust in what you cannot see, knowing that my Father is moving in ways beyond human understanding. Consider a farmer who plants seeds in the ground. He doesn't see the growth immediately, but he has no doubt that something is happening underground. He waters, nurtures, and protects his field, believing that in due time, the harvest will come. The farmer does not dig up seeds every day and demand improvement. No, he waits patiently, trusting the process. So, too, must you trust in the process of God's timing. It is written, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." My child, your harvest is coming. The dreams you have dreamed in tears will bloom in joy. But you must act with faith, with perseverance, and with a heart that trusts in my Father's perfect plan. I know the thoughts that come to your mind. What if I'm not good enough? What if I missed my chance? What if God has forgotten me? Listen to me. I have never forgotten you. Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Can you see? Your name is written in my hand. Every time I look at them, I see you. Every time I stretch them out in love, I remember my promise to you. You are not forgotten. You are deeply loved. When doubts arise in your mind, return to my words. Declare them over your life. Hold on to them as a lifeline in the storm. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. My child, I see your future, and it is filled with hope. While you wait, don't sit idly by. There is a purpose to this season. Prepare yourself for the blessings that are coming. Strengthen your faith through prayer and worship. Serve others with a joyful heart. Enhance your skills and prepare for upcoming opportunities. Speak life over yourself. Reject negativity and declare my promises. For when the door finally opens, you will be ready to step into the fullness of my Father's plan. My child, I know you are tired. I know the way it has been long. But listen to me. Don't give up before the miracle happens. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. You are closer than you think. Success is closer than you think. Hold on. Believe. God's best is yet to come. My beloved child, you have heard me tell you that waiting isn't wasted time. Now, I want to teach you how to walk in faith while you wait. Many grow weary in the waiting, allowing doubt to take root. But I call you to a higher way, to trust me even when the road ahead is unclear. Waiting is not passive. It is an active journey of faith. Just as my Father works behind the scenes, you too must prepare yourself for the blessings that are coming. Do not be like those who stand still in fear. Instead, Move forward in faith, knowing that your steps are guided by my love. Once upon a time, there was a man named Joseph. He had dreams of greatness, and my father kept those dreams in his heart. But before the dream could become reality, he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. In the darkness of his prison cell, Joseph could have given up. He could have doubted God's promises, but instead, he chose to be faithful. He served diligently wherever he was placed, trusting that my father's plan was greater than his current suffering. And then, in one moment, everything changed. The prison doors opened, and he was brought before Pharaoh. In one day, he went from a forgotten prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt. Until the time came to fulfill his dreams, the Lord tested Joseph's character. My child, waiting is a test of your character. When everything seems meaningless, will you still be faithful? Will you trust in my Father's plan, even when life seems unfair? If you hold on, you will see that every hardship was preparing you for something greater. Many believe that waiting means doing nothing. But I tell you, waiting is a season of preparation. Don't let waiting create distance between us. Come closer. Spend time in my presence. Let my words guide you. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. If you are waiting for new opportunities, sharpen your skills. If you are waiting for healing, feed your soul with my promises. If you are waiting for restoration, work on becoming the person I created you to be. Faith without works is dead. Instead of focusing on what you lack, look for ways to bless others. When you help the needy, my Father will meet your needs. Give, and it will be given to you. Many people grow impatient while waiting and take matters into their own hands. But I warn you, moving ahead of my Father's timing can bring pain. Consider the story of Abraham and Sarah. My father promised them a son. But when years passed with no sign of a child, Sarah grew impatient. She took matters into her own hands, leading Abraham to have a child with her servant Hagar. But this decision led to great trouble and sorrow. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Had they only waited, they would have seen that my father's promise was sure. In the right time, Isaac was born, fulfilling the promise. My child, do not rush ahead of God's plan. What He has prepared for you is far greater than anything you could create for yourself. I know that waiting can be hard. I know that sometimes the silence feels unbearable. But my child, if you truly trust me, you will find peace even in the waiting. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Do not let fear steal your joy. Do not let anxiety control your mind. Instead, surrender your worries to me. When you trust that my Father's timing is perfect, you will walk in peace even before the breakthrough comes. My child, I see your struggle. I see your tears. But I also see the beautiful future that awaits you. Do not give up. Do not let the waiting discourage you. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep trusting. For soon the doors will open, and you will step into the blessings my Father has prepared for you. The best is yet to come. My beloved child, you have learned to walk in faith while you wait. But I know there are moments when nothing seems to make sense. You pray, but the answers do not come. You work hard, yet see no results. You try to hold on, but your strength fades. Listen to me. Do not give up. My Father's plan is unfolding, even when you cannot see it. The delay does not mean denial. The waiting does not mean abandonment. It is in these moments that your faith is refined, and your trust in me is tested. There was once a man named Job, who was faithful and righteous. He loved my Father and lived according to His ways. Yet, despite his faithfulness, suffering came upon him. In a single day, he lost his wealth, his children, and his health. His friends accused him of wrongdoing, and his wife told him to curse God and die. But Job refused. Even in the darkest moments, Job held on to hope. He could not understand why he was suffering, but he knew my Father was still in control. And in the end, his faith was rewarded. My Father restored to him twice what he had lost. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him? My child, sometimes life will bring storms you do not understand. But if you remain faithful, if you keep trusting, you will see my Father's goodness shine through. You may wonder, Lord, why is this taking so long? But I tell you, every delay has a purpose. My Father is not withholding blessings from you. He is preparing you to receive them. Just as a seed must grow before it bears fruit, your heart must be ready for the blessings I have for you. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Some prayers are answered in unexpected ways. My ways are higher than your ways. What you think is a delay may actually be redirection to something better. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. There are dangers you cannot see, but I see them. What feels like rejection is often my Father's protection. You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. I know that waiting can be painful, and in your pain, you may start to blame yourself. You may say, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I have failed God. But, my child, that is a lie from the enemy. Do not believe the voice that tells you my Father has abandoned you. His love for you is eternal, unshaken by your struggles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. If you have made mistakes, come to me. I will forgive you. I will restore you. But do not believe that my Father has turned away from you. He is always near, guiding you even in the silence. Worship is a powerful weapon in the waiting. When you praise, even in pain, you invite my presence into your situation. Look at Paul and Silas. They were beaten and thrown into prison. Yet instead of despairing, they prayed and sang hymns to my Father. And at midnight, the prison shook and the doors flew open. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. Suddenly, there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. My child, your breakthrough may be just one praise away. Do not stop worshiping. Do not stop believing. My Father hears every cry, every whisper of your heart. And in the perfect time, He will move. I know your pain. I see your struggle. But I also see the victory that is coming. Do not grow weary. Keep trusting. Keep believing. For in due time, you will see that everything, every delay, every trial, every tear was part of my Father's greater plan. The best is yet to come. Hold on. My beloved child, I see you. I see your struggles, your pain, and the burdens you carry. I know the weight of waiting, the ache of unanswered prayers, and the doubt that creeps in when my Father's timing feels distant. But listen closely, my child. Your waiting is not in vain. My Father sees you, and He has prepared a beautiful plan for your life. You may feel forgotten, but I tell you, you are always on my Father's mind. Every tear you have cried, every prayer you have whispered, every moment you have wondered if I hear you, I do. And I am working all things together for your good. Let me tell you about a man named Joseph. He was faithful, obedient, and righteous. Yet he was betrayed by his own brothers and sold into slavery. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison for years. But do you know what Joseph did while he waited? He remained faithful. He trusted my Father's plan, even when it made no sense, and in the perfect time, my Father lifted Joseph from the prison and placed him in the palace. What others meant for harm, thus my Father used for good. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done. My child, your suffering is not wasted. Every painful season is a setup for a greater blessing. You may not see it now, but one day you will understand why my Father allowed you to wait. Just as fire refines gold, your faith is being purified. When you come out of this season, you will be stronger, wiser, and ready for the blessings ahead. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. What you think is a no might simply be a not yet. My Father's timing is always perfect, even when you do not understand it. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. My Father sees your patience, your trust, and your endurance, and He is a rewarder of those who seek Him. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. My child, I know how easy it is to let bitterness grow in your heart when things do not happen as you expected. But bitterness poisons your soul. It blinds you to my Father's love and steals your joy. If you have been disappointed, bring your pain to me. Let me heal your wounds. Do not let resentment rob you of the blessings that are coming. See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble. Paul and Silas were beaten and thrown into prison. But instead of complaining, they praised my Father. And in the middle of the night, a miracle happened. The prison doors swung open. Your breakthrough may not have come yet, but can you praise my Father now? Can you trust Him even before you see the answer? Rejoice, for your deliverance is near. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances. My child, do not let go. The wait is almost over. The blessing my Father has prepared for you will be greater than you imagined. Keep your faith. Keep trusting. Keep believing. Your story is not over. Your greatest days are still ahead. My dear child, listen to me one last time before you go. You have walked this journey of waiting, of faith, of patience. You have questioned, you have cried, you have hoped, and yet perhaps you still do not see the answer you long for. But I tell you, beloved, do not be discouraged. Do not be discouraged, because I am always with you. When you feel like you are standing in silence, when you feel like heaven is quiet, don't believe the lie that I am absent. I am here. I have never left your side, not for a moment. When you thought you were walking alone, I was carrying you. When you felt weak, I was the strength holding you together. When you thought all was lost, I was already working on your recovery. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. My child, I see the burden of waiting on your heart. I see the burdens you carry, the dreams that seem delayed, the prayers that seem unanswered. But what if I told you that your waiting has not been in vain? What if I told you that every moment of patience, every tear shed in faith, every prayer whispered in trust has been preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine? You see, my Father is not slow in keeping His promises. No, my Father is precise, perfect in timing, sovereign in all things. What seems like delay to you is divine preparation. You are being made ready. Your heart is being formed. Your faith is being refined. My child, do not lose hope now, for your success is coming. At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen. I know, my dear, that you are tired. The journey has been long. The path was hard. You saw others being blessed, even after you waited. Do you think I have forgotten you? But I tell you this, my Father never forgets his children. He's never late. He wrote your story with his own hand, and it is unfolding exactly as it should. So do not be weary, my child. Keep your faith strong. Keep believing. Move forward. What my Father has for you will not pass you by. It will come. And when it does, it will be beyond what you asked, beyond what you imagined, beyond what you ever thought possible. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Fear has lied to you, my child. Fear has told you that you will always be stuck, that things will never change, that I have abandoned you. But those are not my words. That is not my truth. I tell you now, do not let fear control you. Fear is the enemy's weapon, but faith is your shield. I have given you strength, love, and a healthy spirit. Stand firm in that truth. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Don't be afraid of what lies ahead. I'm going before you. I am already in your future, preparing the way, making the crooked path straight, opening the doors that no one can shut. Go forward in faith, my child, for I am taking you to a place of blessing. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You were faithful, even when it was hard. You held on to hope, even when everything seemed to fall apart. And my Father is a rewarder of those who seek him. My child, your faith has not gone unnoticed. Your patience has not been ignored. My Father is faithful, and he will fulfill his promise. In the days to come, you will look back on this season of waiting and see every detail of my hand. You will see that I was working in ways you never knew existed. You will see that the waiting was not a punishment, but a preparation. You will see that what I have planned for you is so much better than anything you had planned for yourself. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him. My beloved, you need to understand this. Your story is not over yet. It does not end here. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. My Father's plans for you are still in motion. His promises to you still stand. His love for you has never changed. So as you step forward from this moment, I want you to go with joy. I want you to walk in peace. I want you to hold your head high, knowing that you are a child of the Most High. You are loved. You are chosen. You are destined for greater things. My child, the best is yet to come. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep hoping. And when the day comes when your prayers are answered, when your success comes, when your blessings are in your hands, remember this moment. Remember the waiting. Remember my faithfulness. And never forget that I was with you every step of the way. Wait patiently, my child. My Father's best is yet to come. Amen.